Hi, this is Andrew Klavan on The Culture. Golly, it's getting to be graduation time, and those of you just finishing 4 years at an American university are probably looking at the world filled with anxiety and wondering, why are those conservatives so mean? Why are they so racist and greedy? Why don't they want the government to be nice to minorities, or pay for health care, or help me find a job? Why do they want that nice President Obama to fail? Well, college grads, the answers lie in a book you've never read called Democracy in America by Alexis de Tocqueville. To put this in terms you can understand, Alexis de Tocqueville was some French guy who lived way back in history days, before Lara Croft's breasts jiggled when you jumped her up and down in Tomb Raider. He wrote about politics and society, and much of what he said was true. This made him different from all the other French guys whom you have read, and so he was lonely and decided to travel to America, which was much easier in olden times because there were no airports. When Tocqueville saw how free, how industrious, and how religious Americans were back then, he thought it would be difficult ever to crush their freedom under tyranny. Difficult, but not impossible. Tocqueville foresaw that there might one day come a government of tyrannical kindness that would, he said, degrade men without tormenting them. This kindly tyranny would be like a father, only instead of preparing its children for adulthood, it would seek to keep them in childhood forever. It would take care of all the citizens' needs and facilitate their pleasures, and so little by little rob them of the use of their free will. Promising to make amends for 1,000 previous wrongs, such as, past racism, for instance, this tyrannical state would take over community tasks normally performed by voluntary associations, such as charities and churches, thus rendering these freer, more human institutions obsolete and making only the tyrannical state ever more indispensable. When the despots of this tyranny say it takes a village to raise a child, they don't mean a village at all. They mean, in fact, the all-powerful, infantilizing state. Amazingly, 150 years after Tocqueville died, it is exactly this soft tyranny that the kindly President Barack Obama offered America when he said,
"The question we ask today is not whether our government is too big or too small, but whether it works, whether it helps families find jobs at a decent wage, care they can afford, a retirement that is dignified."
And also when he said,
"But I am kind. Everything you could ever desire. Every happiness you can imagine. Every pleasure your fellow Greeks and your false gods have denied you, I will grant you. For I am kind."
Okay, one of those was the big creepy Persian guy from 300, but it's kind of hard to tell them apart. And no, not just because both have dark skin and are narcissistic metrosexuals. It's because they're both offering the same tyranny of animal pleasures, complete safety, and dehumanizing loss of free will that Tocqueville predicted so long ago. You see, college grads, conservatives aren't really mean, or greedy, or racist. They just want you to keep your liberty. You haven't been taught about liberty, but it's that big, scary American thing your forefathers fought and died for. I know, liberty is harder than slavery. It's full of risk and unequal outcomes. It requires you to stand on your own and suffer the consequences of your choices. But in the end, it's the only way of life worth living. The only way you might one day graduate from academic fantasies of a state-run utopia and grow to be men and women instead of sheep. This is Andrew Klavan on The Culture.